It's an interesting question. The NSA's model is to collect everything, right? That's how they judge themselves. That's what they believe their mission is. And they are collecting everything. And I think they did it without a lot of cost-benefit analysis. They didn't have any considerations to these objectives becoming public, right? If the Snowden revelations were that the NSA eavesdropped on North Korea and the Taliban, no one would care. It's that they eavesdropped on Germany and Belgium and other European countries and Brazil and corporations. This is what's getting people enraged. So I think there is going to be some risk analysis which will make the NSA less aggressive in this collection. So in that way, maybe they did go too far.
A question a lot of people will want to ask and see if you can answer it. Can the NSA read my email? And what, if anything, can I do to stop them doing that?
The NSA probably can read your email. They seem to collect everything. Your email goes mostly in the clear through the internet. It's probably on some big corporate email server somewhere. And the NSA has access to it through a variety of mechanisms. It probably does go through the NSA servers. It's probably not saved, because there's a lot to save, but it might be. It's certainly analyzed. And what you can do about it, unfortunately, is largely nothing. I mean, there are things you can do in the extreme. There are encryption programs you can use. There are things you can take off of email. But those don't really work for the average person. For the average person, their security is in the hands of the companies they're using, and those companies are working with the NSA.
President Obama has said that the operations of the NSA is under review. What exactly could change? What do you expect to change?
So right now, the reviews are largely cosmetic. I don't think there's going to be a lot of change due to those. There might be political change in the U.S. There are several bills going through Congress that are trying to rein in the NSA. Most of them have large loopholes, and my fear is they'll be passed and nothing will change. I think largely what will change will be internal. Just the fact of having their entire secrets exposed in this manner will change the way the NSA operates. And I think it'll change for the better. How much, I don't know. Long term, we need some better political solutions, but short term, I don't think that's going to happen.
What do you make of statements that are coming out of Germany that some politicians are saying that they would hope for a meeting? One politician has had a meeting, but they're saying at a fairly senior level that they would hope for a meeting with Snowden in the light of the allegations. I mean, why did they do this? I mean, what use was the content of Angela Merkel's calls? What use would that be to the NSA?
Yeah, there's a lot of politics back and forth now between the U.S. and the European countries. At this point, I think Edward Snowden is more of a minor player. It's really his documents that are speaking, and that's where the information lies. It's not things he knows. It's all the documents that are coming to light. So I think meetings with him and world leaders are far less important than these documents becoming public that detail the kind of things the NSA is doing.
You say a lot of politics involved, and that a meeting with Snowden would be minimal. In other words, you seem to be saying there's very little that he could do to help Germany get to the bottom of why they were being bugged and what they could do about it.
At this point, the documents speak for themselves. The documents are the stories. The documents have the data, and this is far more important than with what one analyst remembers.
What do you think in the NSA might change as a result of the Snowden leaks?
I think the NSA is going to become more conservative. I think they've been operating under the assumption that things they do will never become public. I think companies that cooperate with the NSA cooperated under the assumption that their cooperation would never become public. And that this is becoming public and will continue to become public, not just with Snowden, but other whistleblowers, are going to make all these organizations more conservative.
Snowden was merely a contractor. According to him, he could access emails that might even have come from the president if he wanted to. I mean, what systems, as far as you know, are in place to stop fairly lowly contractors doing things like that?
Edward Snowden was a contractor, but he was in IT infrastructure. He was one of the plumbers of their computer infrastructure. So he had a very broad access. And you kind of need that for people who are doing that kind of work. What we're learning about the NSA security is they largely relied on their clearance process and choosing correct people, bringing them on the inside. But once on the inside, they had very broad access.